In the deep darkness of space, far from the heart of the Empire, a small patrol ship drifted through the Jeridan sector. Captain Rill sat in the command chair, bored. He had done this same patrol route 100 times. Nothing ever happened out. Here, the stars blinked like they always did. The ship's scanners showed only empty space. The crew relaxed, some chatting quietly, others dozing at their stations. But then, something changed. A faint signal lit up on the radar. Just one blip. No sound. No ID tag. Could be a rock, the sensor officer said, brushing it off. Captain. Rill frowned. Zoom in. The screen focused. What they saw wasn't a rock dot. It was a ship. But not like anything they had seen before. Low, black, silent, no lights. No heat, no signal. It floated like a ghost. Is it a cloaked vessel? Rill asked. No energy readings. It's just ... There, the officer replied, his voice shaky. The shape was smooth, sharp-edged, and terrifying. The hull looked like it. Drank light instead of reflecting it. Even the stars behind it seemed to dim. Then the lights on their ship flickered. The crew looked around, confused. The main screen went dark for 2 seconds, then came back. Did it do that? Rill asked. No. One answered. They sent a scan beam toward the black ship. Nothing bounced back. It's absorbing the scan? That shouldn't be possible. Captain Rill stood slowly. Send a report to command. Tell them we found something. Not from any known registry. The communication officer tapped. Keys. Trying ... but the signal is blocked. Blocked? How? They weren't in a gravity field or storm. We're being jammed, he whispered. The black ship didn't move. It didn't turn. It just stayed there ... watching ... or waiting. Suddenly, one of their engineers screamed. Everyone turned. The AI just shut down. Backup systems too. The lights flickered again. Alarms flashed for a second, then stopped. All systems froze for 3 heartbeats ... Then everything returned, but something was different. The crew could feel it. The air was heavier. The silence louder ... Then the black ship turned ... No thrusters. No sound. Just slow, smooth motion ... It faced them directly. Then a pulse ... No explosion. No flash. Just a wave of pressure, like something passing through them. Captain Rill grabbed the edge of his console. All systems? Offline, someone said in disbelief. Their ship stopped moving. Not disabled, frozen. No engines, no weapons, no control. The crew stared at the black ship. It didn't fire. That it didn't speak. It just existed. And then it vanished. Not. Jumped to hyperspace. It faded. Like smoke in wind. Silence returned. Captain Rill whispered. That wasn't Empire. That wasn't anything we know. He activated the emergency deep space beacon, the one used for true threats. Just one word was recorded in the alert. Human. Hours later, the Empire's border command received the alert. But by then, the patrol ship was gone. No debris. No escape pods. No final messages. Just empty space where they had been. And one repeating message on the emergency channel, looping over and over again. We saw the black ship. The high command thought it was a glitch, but whispers began to spread in backrooms of the Empires. Fleet command. Quiet talk of a lost human ship. Of tech Earth should never have. Of a ghost vessel called the Quiet Blade. It was just a myth, right? But then 2 more patrol ships vanished, and fear began to grow. Something was moving in the shadows of space. Something silent. Something Terran. Something the Empire wasn't ready for. Asterisk. The Empire's capital world was covered in bright towers, shining. Domes and endless skyways. But inside the council hall, the air was heavy. Tense. Silent. 12 high members of the Empire sat in a circle. They wore long robes, golden chains, and badges of power. Behind them, tall alien guards stood still like statues. Every screen in the room showed the same image, the last signal from the lost patrol ship. A dark shape, a whisper of a hull. A warship like none seen before. It's a hoax, one elder said sharply. Some pirate playing games? No pirate has that tech, Admiral Varn replied. His face was pale. No signal, no heat, no known design. And it turned off a whole ship with one pulse. Then who? Another counselor asked. A quiet voice came from the back. Earth. Everyone turned. It was Minister Relk, the oldest among them. His eyes were cloudy with age, but his voice was steady. Don't be ridiculous, someone scoffed. Humans have been silent for decades. Yes, Relk said. Too silent. He tapped a button on his tablet. The central screen changed. It showed grainy images, decades-old Terran ships from the early expansion age. Ugly, strong, fearless. We're always building, always fighting harder than expected. And one day, they stopped talking to us, closed their gates, vanished. Because they were weak, a noble laughed. Maybe they destroyed themselves. Or maybe, Relk said quietly, they kept building, alone, in the dark. A chill passed through the room. Another admiral stood. This is foolish. We control half the galaxy. One ship won't scare the Empire. Relk stared at him. That one ship made 3 of our patrol crafts vanish without firing a shot. The room fell silent again. What do we know for sure? The Empress's advisor asked. Admiral Varn answered. The patrol sent an emergency beacon before disappearing. One word, human. Someone cursed under their breath. Then what do we do? A senator asked. Open communication with Earth? They haven't answered anyone in years. Should we prepare for war? There was hesitation. Then someone finally said what many feared. We don't know how to fight what we don't understand. Suddenly, a screen lit up. A new message. Everyone froze. The seal was ancient. The encryption Terran. And the message was simple. The black ship was just a shadow. Stay out of the dark. We're not warning again. No reply. No trace. The council chamber stayed still. For the first time in centuries, the Empire felt fear. Meanwhile, deep in Empire-controlled space, people whispered in spaceports and shadow bars. Traders spoke of a ship that passed through systems unnoticed. A freighter captain said his engines died for 10 minutes, then came back on without warning. Above him had been a dark triangle in the sky. Silent. They said it wasn't flying. It was watching, and no one knew where it would appear next. Back in the council hall, Relk stood before the Empress herself. I warned them, he said. Humanity didn't die. They hid. They prepared. The Empress, strong and proud, looked out the wide window at her empire. If Earth has become what we fear, Relk nodded, then even one Terran ship is enough to shake us. Jaredin IV was a rich colony, world blue skies, tall cities, endless factories. It made ships, weapons, and machines for the Empire's military. Over 5 million lived there, and no one expected anything strange that morning. But then, the sky changed. At 9:02 local time. Every screen across the city turned black. Billboards, phones, ship monitors, even coffee machines flickered. No message. Just blackness. Then came the shadow. People looked up. A black shape blocked out the sun. Long, sharp-edged, and impossibly silent. It didn't hum like normal ships. It made no sound at all. Children screamed. Workers stopped in the streets. Pilots in the spaceport ran back to their ships. No identification code. No light, no response. The Terran warship had arrived. The governor of Jaredin IV, A tall alien with 4 eyes, called Central Command. We have an unregistered dreadnought in atmosphere. It single quotes S. Massive. Please advise. High Command replied quickly. Send fighters. Force a scan. Do not let it stay overhead. 12 Imperial fighters launched into the sky. The crowd below watched, holding their breath. The fighters circled the black ship. Then, one by one, they vanished. No flashes. No sound. No explosions. Just gone. People panicked. Families ran to shelters. Military bots deployed in the streets. In orbit, a fleet of Empire warships arrived. Send a signal. The Admiral ordered. One of the ships broadcasted a message. Unidentified vessel. You are trespassing in Empire territory. Identify or prepare to be fired upon. No answer. The human ship rotated slightly. Still no light. No weapons shown. Just silent movement. Then, everything froze. Every ship in orbit went dark. Engines off. Weapons offline. AI systems crashed. Even emergency lights stopped. For 2 full minutes, space held its breath. Then systems returned. The black ship was gone. Back in the command center, no one spoke. The Admiral gripped his chair. That ship didn't just block systems. It controlled them. Someone whispered, "Is this what humans are now?" On Jeridan 4, the power grid shut down completely for an hour. No warning. No reason. And during that hour, the same 3 words appeared on every device, over and over. Again, we see you. That night, across Jeridan 4, strange things were reported. People saw shapes moving on rooftop stall, figures with glowing blue eyes. One engineer claimed he met a human in the dark tunnels under the factory. The human said nothing, just stared, then left, walking straight through a solid wall. The report was ignored, but more sightings came. Technician found an old Terran coin on her console. Impossible. Since she had never met a human. Another worker found the Empire's fleet blueprints. Rewritten, improved, smarter, marked with the word, "Yours is outdated." Panic spread. The colony governor begged the council for help. Back at the Empire capital, the council met again. They didn't fire a single weapon, Admiral Varn said. They didn't need to. They're testing us, Relk said. Or sending a message, the Empress whispered. One counselor asked, "Why Jeridan 4?" Relk answered, "Because it builds our weapons. And they want us to know ... It means nothing." In the final moments of the day, Jeridan 4's skies turned normal again. But the people didn't forget. They stared at the stars with fear. 1. Warship. No shots. No destruction. But the message was clear. We are not what you remember. And the Empire realized something chilling. They hadn't just seen a ship. They had seen the future. Asterisk across the galaxy. Screens flickered again. News, channels, battle maps, and control centers all showed the same message, just a blinking symbol. A simple circle, broken by a line through the center. Old captains knew what it meant. So did war historians. Was the Terran symbol for war. No sound, no warning, just the image. Then, finally, a voice, calm, cold, human. This was not your first mistake, but it will be your last if you continue. That was all. The signal ended. Across military networks, a silence followed. No one dared speak. Even hardened commanders stared at the symbol long after it disappeared. In the Empire's high command chamber. Alarms flashed. The Empress stood slowly, eyes narrowed. Earth finally speaks. Relk was already pulling old files. That voice came from a location we thought dead. Deep inside the Black Zone, an area we sealed off centuries ago. Humans never stopped living there? Someone whispered. No, Relk replied. They evolved there? The room went silent. In deep space, the Empire sent a stealth probe toward the signal origin. It never made it. Halfway through its journey, the probe stopped responding. Not destroyed, just vanished from every system. Not a trace. No energy signature. No debris. Just gone. And Earth spoke again, this time on all civilian frequencies. Every species heard it. Every colony. Every ship. A simple message translated into every galactic language. To those who remember our silence good. To those who forgot our strength, watch the skies. Earth doesn't want your war. But if forced, we will end yours. On worlds close to human territory, fear began to rise. People started fleeing their cities. Cargo ships refused to travel near Terran borders. Even some Empire generals began moving families off-world secretly, quietly, because even though the human ship hadn't fired a single weapon, the galaxy could feel something. This was not peace. This was a pause. Before the storm, on a quiet colony named Drenos 3, a civilian comms tower picked up something strange. A massive human fleet, just for a second, appeared on long-range sensors, and vanished again. But that second was enough. The fleet had no registration. No ship names. Only one thing linked them. They all had that same Terran symbol, etched into their hulls. Circle. Broken line. The symbol of war. And above it, the words, "Silence is a strategy." In Empire-controlled space, senators panicked. What do they want? Why are they showing themselves now? Why didn't we see them coming? Relk had the answer. They never left. We just stopped. Looking. Some within the Empire demanded a preemptive strike. Destroy Earth before things got worse. But Admiral Varn stood and spoke for many. You don't strike the sleeping giant. You pray it stays asleep. And so, with shaking hands and fearful hearts, the Empire sent one final message to Earth. We recognize your power. Let us speak in peace. No reply came, only static. And then, across every major Empire world, one last signal from Earth echoed. Peace was your chance. Silence was our warning. Now, watch. Lights dimmed in 10 Empire colonies that night. Satellites stopped working. Orbital defense platforms went offline. No attacks. No violence. Just control. From somewhere invisible, somewhere Terran. And across the stars, even the bravest warriors whispered the same thought. If this is what one ship can do, what happens when they send more? The Grand Council of the Empire gathered once again, but this time, something was different. No proud voices. No shouting. Only fear. Even the guards who stood like statues before now gripped their rifles tighter. The Empress sat silent on her throne, eyes locked on the massive holoscreen above. It replayed the same moment over and over again. 10 Empire colonies. Lights out. No warning. No attack. Just black. Relk broke the silence. This was not a show of power. It was control, whispered Admiral Varn. Everyone turned toward him. They didn't destroy anything. They didn't need to. They showed they could take everything without firing a shot. A younger noble slammed his fist on the table. They're just humans. We outnumber them, outgun them. Relk shook his head. No, we only thought we did. The Empress finally spoke. Her voice was cold. How many Terran warships do we estimate exist? Varn stood. We believed there were none. We were wrong. He tapped a console. The lights dimmed and a star map appeared. Dozens of red points blinked across the galaxy. New ghost signals. All matching the same silent tech signature. All from deep black sectors. All Terran. A slow horror spread across the room. They built a fleet in the shadows? The Empress asked. Varn nodded. Not just ships. Monsters. Machines, that. Rewrite the rules of war. Ships that don't need fuel. That don't need crew. They don't jam our systems. They become our systems. The council chamber erupted in chaos. We must launch first. Declare total war. No, we must kneel. They'll never stop. Fingers pointed. Voices screamed. The Empress stood and raised her hand. Silence. She turned to Relk. You warned us. Relk's eyes were hollow. You didn't listen. Outside the chamber, whispers turned into panic across the Empire. On the streets of major worlds, holograms of the Terran warship were shown on every news channel. Experts tried to calm the people, but fear cannot be silenced. Factories shut down. Traders refused to leave orbit. Refugees from border planets flooded safer zones. They all said the same thing. We saw the black ship. We heard the silence. Earth is coming. Back in the council hall, one final message arrived, encrypted in a frequency older than the Empire itself. Relk translated it aloud. You thought our silence meant weakness. You thought time erased our fire. You forgot. We remember everything. Number. Signature. No source. But it didn't matter. Everyone knew it was Earth. A vote was held in panic. Surrender. Prepare for peace. Or prepare for war. The final result. Split. Half wanted diplomacy. Half wanted defense. But none had hope. That night, Admiral Varn stood alone on the balcony of the Imperial Sky Tower. He looked at the stars. And for the first time in his long military life, he whispered the words he never thought he'd say. We should have never pushed Earth. We should have left them in peace. Now, the monsters we laughed at are coming home. On the other side of the galaxy, within a black void where sensors failed, a human warship powered up. No sound. No lights. Just purpose. Its hull shimmered like liquid shadow. Across it, 4 words glowed in burning Terran white. First of many. Asterisk. In a hidden archive, deep beneath the Empire's capital, Relk walked alone. The ancient vault hadn't been opened in over a century. Dust floated in the air. The walls were lined with forbidden history files, sealed after humanity disappeared. From the council, he moved past broken machines, old Terran tech collected and locked away long ago. A cracked helmet, a shattered rifle, a torn flag with Earth's emblem, a circle split by a line. Relk opened the terminal. Access. Council Level 0. Clearance code. Red eclipse. The screen flickered. A warning flashed. Unstable data Terran classified. Read at own risk. He clicked Proceed. Video logs began to play. Secret footage. Hidden research. The truth about Earth. The first clips showed human scientists speaking in hushed tones. We are done asking to be part of the galaxy. Let them forget us. While we build what they fear most, freedom through force. Other recordings showed labs filled with machines no one could name. Ships being grown, not built inside artificial stars. AI voices speaking in languages even the best Empire minds couldn't decode. One log showed a soldier walking through fire with no armor. Another showed a child lifting a tank. And the last ... a single human, unarmed, surrounded by elite alien. Warriors. She spoke one word. Sleep. They all dropped to the ground alive, but unconscious. Relk sat back, hands shaking. Earth didn't fall behind. They stepped off the stage to evolve in silence. And now, they weren't just stronger. They were something else. Back in orbit, the Terran warship hovered in total silence. Empire probes circled it again, trying to get data. One got too close. Its camera sent one final image. Inside the ship, something was watching. Not a human. Not a machine. Something in between. A figure in dark armor, its face hidden, eyes glowing faintly. Behind it, hundreds more stood silent, still, Waiting. The probe disintegrated. The Empire named them Ghost Class soldiers. But they were wrong. They weren't ghosts. They were Terrans. In the following days, strange things happened across the galaxy. An Empire cruiser lost its eye. It woke up with a new voice, calm, human, and aware. A council minister opened his private vault and found a Terran data crystal placed inside, though no one had entered. A mercenary ship disappeared for 3 hours. When it returned, the entire crew had forgotten who hired them, but remembered a woman in black armor who whispered their memories away. The Empire tried to warn its citizens. They told people to stay calm, but fear moved faster than light. In bars, in bunkers, on colony streets, one phrase spread from planet to planet. Humans don't make war like us anymore. They become the war. The Empress called a final secret meeting. Only 5 trusted advisors were there. She stared at them, her voice steady. We pushed Earth out of the galaxy. Now they return not to join us, but to replace us. Relk looked at her and said quietly, They don't want our throne. They built something bigger, something we can't even see. That night, across the stars, a hidden fleet moved for the first time. Dozens of warships. Thousands of silent black holes. All rising from dead zones. From ruins. From forgotten sectors. And on every hull, one message burned in white. No more silence. In the darkness of space, a young Imperial pilot sat alone in her scout ship. Her sensors began to blink. She looked up. One massive Terran ship passed by, silent and calm. She didn't fire. She didn't run. She just stared as it disappeared into the stars. And in her heart, she knew humanity hadn't come back to conquer. They had come back to end something, or begin something far worse. Asterisk. The capital world of the Empire, Veltrax Prime, shone like a jewel in space. Thousands of ships orbited above. Defense rings hummed with power. Imperial banners flew high over the towers. From the surface, everything seemed normal. But deep inside, the central command tower, no one was breathing easy. The black Terran ship had arrived. One ship. Alone. But it was enough. It hovered just beyond the defense line. Silent. Still. Every camera locked on it. Every radar scanned. But no information came back. Should we fire? One general asked. No, Admiral Varn said. Firing won't stop that. On the central screen, the ship rotated slowly, revealing the symbol that now haunted the galaxy. A circle, a broken line. And below it, in glowing Terran script, "We are the silence you ignored." Crowds gathered in the streets below. People pointed to the sky, where the black shape hung motionless above them, like a god's shadow. Some cried, some prayed, some simply stared. Even children stopped running. One little girl asked her father, "Is that the monster?" He held her, hand tighter. "No," he said, "that's the warning." In the throne chamber, the Empress stood before her council one final time. "They didn't attack," she said. "They didn't demand anything." "They don't need to," whispered Relk. "They already won." The council chamber lights flickered, not off, just dimmed out as if something else was now in control. Then it happened. Every device, screen, and COMM system across the Empire activated at once. A face appeared. Human. GENDERLESS. Ageless. Eyes like endless sky. It didn't blink. It didn't smile. Simply spoke. "This is our final message. You ignored our silence. You mocked our absence. You thought Earth was gone. But we were building in shadows, not weapons, not armies. We were building balance. Your empire stands on fear. Ours stands in silence. We do not seek war. But if your hand rises again, you will never raise it twice. The message ended, and the ship turned. Without a shot, without a word, it left, disappearing into the stars the same way it came. And for a long time, the Empire watched the empty sky. Not with relief, but with dread, the Empress sank into her throne. Why did they come? She whispered. RLK answered without turning, to remind us that peace is not weakness, and silence is not surrender. In the days that followed, the Empire changed. Worlds that once worshipped military power began tearing down war banners. The Empire didn't collapse. It hesitated. And sometimes, hesitation is the first step to ending a reign. On a faraway world, a young Terran child sat inside a quiet academy under a red moon. She looked up at the teacher. Will they attack again? She asked. The teacher smiled softly. No, he said. We don't need to. But what if they do? The teacher pointed to the stars. They saw just one ship. One. Imagine what happens when they see all of us. And across the galaxy, from the cold edges of forgotten systems to the crowded cities of mighty worlds, everyone remembered the day the black ship came, said nothing, fired nothing, and changed everything. Asterisk.